Welcome to In the Know with Steph and Joe. In the Know with Steph and Joe is all about small business development. These two entrepreneurs bring real-life experience, laughter, and, well, just a ton of knowledge on how to build your small business and make it thrive. After all, this is your creation. Now learn how to make it sing. In the Know with Steph and Joe airs Fridays at 3 p.m. right here on 216 The Net. Like, follow Steph's books and Restoration One of Carrie, along with 216 The Net on Facebook, and subscribe to the 216 The Net YouTube channel. Welcome in to In the Know with Steph and Joe, brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at Restoration One of Carrie and Steph's book. I think we talked about it in the opening, which is great. Failed to overcame on this monumental broadcast here at 216.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom, how are you? As this is the absolute last
Final.
ever.
No more ever shows, not just Steph and Joe, but all shows.
All shows out of this McHenry studio.
Here we are.
And we saved it for the team that's been with us the longest running show on 216 at this point.
I love that. Carrie had a great idea.
Yeah.
For me to bring a confetti cannon.
Oh, you should have.
I should have, but then you would have had to clean it up.
Well, somebody would have.
Somebody would have cleaned it up. I wasn't cleaning it up.
Hey, so failed to overcame. Now, you guys had wonderful weeks. You were both on the go, out of town most of the week. You were in and out of town, right?
What, in and out of the town of McHenry?
That's
Is that what we're going with?
That's what I tell people. They're like, hey, you want to come over? I'm like, yeah, I'm going out of town.
Where are you going?
Schaumburg. Crystal Lake.
Crystal Lake.
I make sure I go out of town so they know I'm not a liar. I'm like, I went to Island Lake.
Different town. I was out of town. Failure to overcome.
Yeah.
There's some people that I talk to that Carrie and I deal with. The Violing group. We actually had Chuck Violand on the show one time, right?
Yeah.
And they start each of these group meetings that we do. Oof, you all right? They start these group meetings.
Do not adjust your speakers.
With that was a loud thud, I'm sure.
That's awesome.
With give us your successes, your train wrecks, and your dumpster fires.
Ooh.
Now, I say that to say this one, we're only talking about one, the dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Success is, we all know success. Train wreck means something that you can fix.
Ooh.
And you think train wreck versus dumpster fire. A dumpster fire is not that big compared to a train wreck. But a train wreck, you could peel the metal apart. There's still like things in it. A dumpster fire means everything that's in there is gone.
Yeah.
Right? So you're throwing it away. And that would be like failure to overcome. You throw it away. Make sense? That's my mindset on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm throwing shit away into the dumpster.
Yeah.
I definitely have thrown some shit away. I'm being told to throw something away right now. I really don't want to.
Yeah.
My RV, my flood RV, my flood trailer.
Wait, you fought so hard to get that thing.
I know.
and you've done so many trainings out of it.
No.
I haven't even seen the inside of it.
Well, there's nothing in it now.
Oh my god.
It's a dumpster.
No, it's a dumpster fire. Actually, we did do trainings out of it.
Oh, okay.
Because I lit fires inside of it.
Okay.
And put contents in so that we get them all smoky and ashy and sooty and things. And so we've done internal trainings there. But I've been told the trailer is no longer viable because I haven't continued with it once we got busy and started doing other things and internal paperwork, things like that I've been doing. I haven't had time to really work on it. So if I could do it, I think
it would
change people's minds. But as far as right now, that's a failure that everybody sees of mine.
Is it like the 6-month rule, like with your clothes, like how you're supposed to hang your hangers backwards, and then if you wear the piece of clothing, then you put the hanger the other way, And if anything is still, the hangers are facing the other way, then that's it. It has to go because you clearly don't wear it.
That's a cool.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hey, that's a great idea. But what if it's like spring? What if it's summer and I have all my spring, my winter stuff hanging up in there? I won't wear that for 6 months.
Go down in your t-shirt drawer, 3 t-shirts. Under that, you don't use them.
I know, like for
I'll
Eli's.
say this: I wear one style of shirt.
Right.
It's Restoration 1 shirts. That's
Yeah.
it.
Well, for Eli's shirts, after I do his laundry,
Yeah.
I'll take the stack and I'll lift the stack and put the wash stack underneath it, so he has to wear them.
You're facing Eli's clothes like they
yeah.
face groceries,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
dating groceries.
Put the old ones up front. So
Yeah.
it's fine.
First in, first out.
People take that old loaf of bread first.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I love
It's the
that
accountant
idea.
in me. First in, first out. It's inventory.
It's inventory. Rotate that.
I get that, but
Mhm.
if I were to actually like be able to set time aside and actually schedule it, it's just not on the major to-dos right now, right? So it's on the back burner. I don't think it's a loss, but it's definitely a failure in the sense that I wanted it done by like months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a failure of mine.
So then here's a question. Do you feel like, even though I know how excited you were and how hard you fought to get this RV,
Mhm.
do you feel like that once you had it, like you just didn't have that same
Need?
passion for it after the thrill of the hunt for it and
was
convincing
wondering
Carrie
the
was
same thing.
gone? And then that's why you put it on ultimately it got put to the back burner, like the passion for it wasn't there. Because I know some of the things that I've failed on is because it fizzled, like my passion or desire or my motivation, it just fizzled.
No, I probably took like a month or 2 after we got it to strip the entire inside down to literally
Right.
just the shell. All the mechanics, everything like the whatever sink, most of the wires, everything's out of it. It's just a shell. The only reason I didn't take the shell apart was because we didn't have dumpster space. We got busy at the time. We didn't have dumpster space for it.
Mm.
And I would need help from somebody because I can't dismantle those giant walls without destroying something. And I don't want to wreck the frame because the frame is what I really wanted out of that trailer
Oh.
is the frame.
Mm.
So I can build up from the frame. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to be able to sit back, to get back into it and do it. It's just like now that the time's passed, like you said, for your clothes, now that the time's passed, is it a failure? To me, it's a failure because I'm not allowed to do it anymore.
I'm not allowed. Carrie has spoken.
I have some leeway. We'll see if it
That's
works.
awesome.
We'll have some leeway. We'll see if it works.
That's awesome.
What? I mean, that's one of the things that I really, really, really wanted done.
Yeah.
And completely can't get past getting it done.
Yeah.
It's like such a stick in the mud right now.
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't know. I guess something that I consistently fail at, no matter how many times I attempt to be better at it the next time or put my best foot forward, is listening to podcasts that Rich send me. But if I'm in the car with him and he has the podcast on,
You'll listen.
I'm like listening to him and I'm talking to him about it. And then he gets even more frustrated because he sent me the podcast like 7 months ago. And then now he's like surprise attacking me with the podcast, like just casually putting it on. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Oh, this is like whatever, this or this.
He's like,
and then
he's like, woman, please.
But like if he
I sent this to you 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, like if he sends me a podcast, no matter how hard I think that I possibly am going to try and I just don't like listening to podcasts in the car when I'm by myself. Like if I'm driving with somebody,
What are you singing songs? I mean, what are you doing?
I'll just listen to music in the car. I'd rather listen to music than listen to somebody talking. Like if somebody else is in the car with me and we're going to talk about the content, like then I'll do a podcast clearly, but by myself, I'll never do it. And also he sends me things that are longer than 15 minutes in my attention span. Like already is limited.
See, I'm the opposite of that. I'd rather have like an hour-long podcast, one that I can hit play and I don't have to touch anything and it just plays.
Yeah. I'll fall asleep driving. Like I can't.
Well, I listen to music when I'm driving,
Well, yeah.
or NPR.
What?
What is wrong with that woman?
Oh, she's listening to a podcast.
my
school zone.
My grandpa was like the same way. We were driving in Florida to the Keys, and whatever, I don't know what we were listening to in the car, maybe like a book on tape or something. And we were going, and then he just started, it was the middle of the day, just started falling asleep and like just kind of veering towards like the ocean line. Like,
oops.
But so I don't know, maybe it just runs in my family.
I listen to NPR and that makes people fall asleep.
Every time.
Yep.
Like I can't, I guess I
find it
can't
interesting.
do podcasts, but I also, I guess when I have like a really big project in front of me too, I can't not wait till the last minute to do it. Like I will procrastinate it until the 11th hour, and then I feel like I get my best like brain juices flowing, and then I do like the whole thing in the 11th hour.
When has that failed you?
I don't know if it's necessarily failed me, but it
that
puts
is a failure waiting to happen.
It hasn't happened yet, but it just puts a lot of unnecessary stress on you sometimes.
I was gonna say.
And then do I really want to stay up until 2:00 in the morning doing this? And I have like a whole pep talk with myself. Like, all right, let's segment this out. We're going to do this and this and this, and then it'll be done by Tuesday. Yeah. And then I'm like,
Monday night.
I'm like, whatever, fuck it. And then next thing you know, it's 10:30 on Monday, and I'm like, well, let's get at this.
Well,
I guess it's time to work.
That tells me you're a clutch player. That's all. You want the ball in the last 5 seconds of the game, and you're going to score. Michael Jordan was that way. Everybody thought he was awesome. Kobe Bryant, right? Yep. Tom Brady. He march you downfield in the last minute of the game, right? They're stars. So I think you're a star. You're a superstar. That's great.
It's just, I don't know.
You eat it. You like the pressure. Here's what I would tell you to do. Change the due date.
Have the due date in your mind at different times.
Change the due date to like 3 days before, and then it'll get done in a hurry, right?
Yeah, because my mom will be like, she'll be like, follow up with me, and she'll be like, so how's that coming along? I don't know. And she's like, what do you mean you don't know? Like,
I haven't started it.
I'm like, I haven't even opened the book on it. But I feel like that also goes back to like my bad habits from school. Like I was the same way all through school, all through college. Like so technically it's not a failure yet, but it's a failure to be able to change. Like, I don't know if it's like you can't
teach that to somebody.
Like,
you can't.
Like, I don't know how to get that process to change in my brain where I can motivate myself. Because I've even tried to put it on my like task list, but I know that it's not really like a true task because it's not due yet.
See, you have it in your brain like, no, don't need to do it. Not needed yet.
But I don't know how to retrain my brain.
So like
it's one small step at a time.
I feel like it's just that epic failure is going to happen, and then I'll be like, all right.
You're going to fail to overcome being on time.
So my failure is kind of similar, right? Is I wanted to, in all goodness of my heart, a business brain, everything, is to all the hosts send out a weekly, hey, here's what the numbers are, here's what's going on, right? I really wanted to. and I had the system set up. I'm like, hey, this is it. I'll grab these numbers now, and then I'm at home and I can bip it bop and I can boop and get it done and get it out.
Yeah.
And it's still there. Everything's right in order to do it. And that's an epic failure because I want to be able to share the successes and things with the host, right?
Right.
And the numbers and the growth and the fun and, get everybody like, fuck, this is awesome, right? And then the month passes and the next one comes.
You forgot.
And then, no, I didn't forget. No, it's not that I forget. It's I do this. I always go, I'll do it at home.
Same thing as her.
And then there's something that gets in the way at home, right? It's like, oh, you got to mow the lawn. The dog needs to be pet. The wife needs to be kissed. Whatever the case may be, something always comes up. Or you walk in and somebody's watching a cool documentary on Netflix. Let me just sit down for 5 minutes and I'll go right up there to my office and do it. 3 hours later, you're like, I guess it's time for bed.
Oops.
And as I'm sitting there watching the movie, 8 times I'm like, I really should get up and go do that. I mean, it's only going to take a minute. You got everything kind of set up to right?
Yeah. Or
Are
sometimes
you a morning
I'll.
person?
I'm a way morning person.
Yeah, that's
Do
what
you
he said
do
last
everything?
week.
Yeah, I know. Do you do everything in the morning?
90%. I get more done by 9 o'clock than most people do.
Right.
by
Why
3.
not do it then?
I should. Yeah.
I should.
You're
Yes,
right.
You're right.
And that's the failure, right? That is the epic failure.
That is
so,
it.
So I'm wondering, right, as I'm looking at, is it the hunt? Is it the idea, right? What is it that it's great? And I've got the system, I got everything, I've got spreadsheets to, and I've got everything in there for the spreadsheets to carry months and do whatever, right? I did all that hard work. But then what is it? You tore out the RV. You got it. Then what is it that
90% done?
Yeah. Then
Right?
what
Or whatever.
Right. Then what is it that goes failure?
I don't think that's necessarily a failure. I think you because you're doing it still. It's not like it's over.
Right.
It's not over.
Right. But I haven't delivered.
When I
the
get
goods
rid
that I
of
said I
that
would.
trailer, when I finally get rid of that trailer, it's over.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah, so then like Kent's thing would be if he finally lost a show because of it.
Right. Somebody
Like
gets
that
pissed
would
off and goes,
be
"Fuck you, we're done."
like
Yeah.
now that would be the failure. But actually thinking about it, my procrastination did bite me in the ass this week. Guess what happened?
You got bit by an
Please
ant.
tell.
QuickBooks Connect sold out. I didn't get tickets.
You didn't get tickets for
No.
this Vegas. Is it in Vegas this
Yeah.
year? Yeah.
I didn't get tickets. They posted it up and then they had different
I did it.
they like posted it up and I'm like, oh, we didn't buy tickets until end of July last year, whatever. And they're not going to announce the speakers until August 12th. So I want to know if I'm speaking this year because they don't have as good
better
of
hope you are.
a like playlist.
Yeah.
Like they don't have like a celebrity
Hopefully you're
speaker.
speaking,
Right.
so that way you
Right.
don't need tickets.
Well, they didn't do the early buy discount. They don't have a celebrity speaker this year.
It's already
They
sold out.
raised the price, and then you have to have an actual accountant's QuickBook file key code in order to buy tickets. So with all of those things, I was like, it's fine. And then I logged in there to check something. Not fine. Not fine. It was like sold out. And then after I like hyped it all up to my team, because 3 members of my team have never been. And then the other 2 team members were talking about how fun it is and what we do and like the team building
So
aspects.
blame it on the presidential.
And
Why
then
don't you just take them and just go?
Just
and then
take 'em to Vegas
just
anyways?
Crash the conference.
you have to have a badge to get in. They scan your badge. Haven't you ever been to like a
I'll find it.
conference?
Yes, I was just at one.
Well, didn't you have
literally
a
this week.
Literally yesterday. Yesterday,
Well,
I
didn't
was
you
at
have-
a conference and they
didn't you have
didn't
a
scan
badge?
our badge.
Oh, yeah,
No,
no.
in fact, you remember the 80s party? Our opening night. Oh, this is just a side. This is a complete side story, but it's funny that we had the 80s for McHenry Gala this beginning of this year, right?
Yeah.
It was 80s theme. So I was dressed as Marty McFly from Back to the Future 2 in the future. And I took that outfit. Well, what was our name tags for the gala? They were floppy disks, 3.5-inch floppy disks, right?
Mhm.
So I took that and put it into my coat pocket of my Marty McFly outfit. And when I got to the conference there and we did the 80s, I put the coat on and I reached in and I go, ho, had my name on it. So I popped the little safety tab thing and took my name badge off and put my lanyard onto the floppy disk. I wore it the entire conference. I had a floppy disk for my name badge. I walked into every room without even a problem. It was amazing.
Oh, you know.
Everybody's like, that's
There's-
the greatest thing. Come on in. There
there's-
was 4 conferences. I could have walked into every one.
No, there's 3. So in each breakout session, there's 3 people blocking the door to scan your badge. And if you don't get scanned, you don't go into the breakout sessions. And then there's 6 security guards at the entrance to walk into the area where the conference is even.
Well,
Like
You're
QuickBooks.
short. You can get by.
clearly,
QuickBooks must be a little
Clearly.
bit more high hoity-toity than the rest
Clearly.
of one.
Than us restoration
Well,
professionals.
I mean,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
dealing with a bunch of accountants. So you're dealing with a
And
bunch
you're
of
dealing with a
like,
bunch of shit scoopers.
Boy,
Like-
yeah.
but I'm just saying you're dealing with a bunch of like
Personality at the account.
rule followers,
Yes.
accountants, like, so.
Which is why you shouldn't need the security.
Right.
Well,
You
I don't
should
know.
need the
It's-
security.
maybe it's
for
just a
us.
Vegas
6
thing.
bodyguards. Yeah, then somebody's gonna go ham in there.
Yeah, one of these.
One of
They're
these
gonna pull out their ticket calculator and.
But yeah, so I guess I feel like
paper cutting
so. I
people.
guess my
adding machine.
procrastinating finally bit me in the ass.
Okay. See, I'm
It
glad
happened.
it did.
But there's no hope. It's done.
No, there's hope.
So,
Because they said that if you watch on the QuickBooks Connect like Facebook group and LinkedIn group,
Somebody
they
back
might
out.
well some that could happen, but they might be releasing additional tickets because these were just the
If it sold out that fast, you would think you have to.
well, I don't understand how it sold out that fast because it's never sold out that fast in the past.
Well,
And
so it's like this.
all the
There's
other
a certain
things
number of
considered, like I
tickets,
said,
and
it's
then
weird.
everybody buys those tickets
Right.
in that certain amount of time, and that's how it sells out.
Well,
it's
Yeah.
never done it before.
but they said it, but they specifically named it as general admission tickets.
Oh.
And that's never been a thing either. It's always just been one ticket. Like you
Yeah.
buy the 3-day. Well, when Rich and I first started
Yeah.
going to the conference like years ago, you could buy a 1, a 2, or a 3-day pass. You didn't have to commit to all the days, but now you do.
So, is there any other events that you could take them to
Yeah.
besides this throughout the year?
Celine
Well,
Dion.
not till like next June. There's a
Carrot Top.
conference in Orlando
Ooh.
that has good reviews. It's
When?
in June, so it just passed.
It's nice and warm.
Yeah.
You were just there.
I was just in Orlando. And I can tell you it was cooler than it was here.
Is that right?
Mhm.
It was 85.
Oh, gorgeous then.
It was not 90.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, but then we had rain and then it literally dry up an instant and it all be in the air.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was
Sweating.
muggy as a bee.
So
Out of your sweaty balls.
have you guys ever been in a situation where you've been working on a project and that project just has a black cloud over it, and no matter how hard you attempt to salvage or fix or put it back on course, it's just never going to happen, and you just need to hurry up and be done with it? I mean, I still, even though you technically finished the project, but when you have situations like that, like I still consider those
Yeah,
failures.
so
What
like,
about clients?
so there's this little company that we'll call it Daily Dose of Encouragement, DDOE, and one of the owners survived and several owners died. I mean, literally, not one, two.
Two.
Well,
That's not several. That's a couple.
right. So that's why I was like, oh, failure. And I'm like, there was a while I literally, when people were like, hey, I want to buy in, whatever, I'm like, all right, but listen.
I was like me giving somebody some weed. I'd be like, listen, I'm warning you.
Hey,
I'm warning you. Yeah, you
you know.
warn people now if they want to buy in.
you have to. No, I mean, that's
It's
just,
become a trend.
and then shortly thereafter, one had quadruple bypass. You're like, what? So I was going to change the company name to Black Widow.
The Widowmaker Inc.
Widowmaker Inc. but right. So there's that a moment where you're like, the cloud that was over, you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
This is
Because there's been
Yeah.
like files that I've been
Yeah.
working on, and like I don't know what has happened, but like it's like I can't get ahead of it.
Mhm.
And then it's like the client finds some dumb mistakes that we that we did, and I'm like, this doesn't even make any sense. Like this isn't even normal protocol for our whatever. And then it just like keeps snowballing. And then like it's been to the like one time it happened very early on in the company where I just was like, you know what? Here's your money back. And this is as far as we took it, but like I don't know what is going on with this, but it's just like not working for all of us involved. Like I don't know what happened. I mean, when I worked in construction, like an easy thing for that is when you're getting materials and you order something and then it's like the wrong shape or it's the wrong size or the wrong color.
Whatever, yeah.
And then you're like, well, shit. And then you order it again. And then all of a sudden it comes in a completely different color and it's still the wrong color. And then you order it again and it's custom, so you can't even return it. And then it's like, and then all of a sudden now it's like a left, and now it's the right color, but the slide faces to the left when it's supposed to face to the right. And you can't like fix that because the anchors and the water line have already been poured. And you're like, huh,
Carrie did that with my Crocs. She tried ordering me like Crocs one time for my birthday. Got me like a 7 in men's. Nope. All right, we found somebody to give. She goes, I'll return them. Okay. Then buys me like a 9 in men's. Nope.
What size are you?
8 in men's in Crocs. And so I was like, nope. So she goes, all right, I'll return them. I go with the other pair. So we gave the other pair away. We still have the 9 in men's, which is like 11 women. So we can't find
like
them.
6'1" with a size 8.
And
how do you stand?
8.5.
I'm glad you just did the math on that. Yes, my whole life I've been this way.
You should have like a size 12 for the tall you are.
Gavin wears a size 13.
Yeah, it's weird.
And he's not as tall as me.
No, he's like
not 6 feet.
5'9"-ish, I would say. 5'8", 5'9",
yeah.
Gavin is. Yeah.
Shoe size and height do not correlate.
No, not on you.
Oh my God, that would be
Or
amazing
anybody.
if I had
Or
like
anybody.
sideshow Bob size feet.
Big feet.
That would be amazing if I had that.
You'd have like
Look like a clown.
you literally could go skiing without skis.
But yeah, so it's just like, I don't know, when we've had these situations where it's been with clients, and then it's like, how do you shake off that black cloud or situation and move on to the next file with the same level of confidence or same project? Like, do you just chalk it up as like, well, shit, that one was doomed to fail from the beginning, clearly?
Yeah, I've had loans that have been that way. You just, every corner, either the borrower does something incorrect or lied, or the underwriter finds something, or
I've had that when I wrote insurance policies.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
And finally, you just got to look at them and say, I can't get this done.
When I started writing insurance, I was writing. I wrote a lot of vacant buildings because those were the hot item and were very hard to insure. And I got one underwriter to really write a crap load of them for me. And that was all he wrote was vacant buildings. But him and I got onto a good system and a good page of understanding what he needed to underwrite it properly and go from there. So we would, I would send him everything. And I got this one new agent that just could not get shit together. And I thought I asked him 800 times the right way. But like, it was an epic failure on my part because I went back and went, God, I could have asked like the stupid smallest little thing different and it would have changed it. And I just failed to like just try and adjust my verbiage slightly because I did it to another agent and he goes, wait, what about this? And I said, what is that? What do you mean by that? And I didn't even ask, what do you mean by that to the other guy? I just kept going, no, it's not that, it's this, and just assumed, right?
That's why my kids won't let me help them with their math homework. You just keep reading the same thing slower and louder. Like, how do you not understand? Jill has 2 apples, She's in first grade. Oh.
That's so true.
So when you're in the thick of the going down the failure path, do you feel like it's best to cut bait, or does the little voice inside you is like, we just need to see this to the end because it's going to get better, or we just need to finish it and just take the lumps along the way?
I.e., when do you call it?
Yeah. Like, do you ever call it, or like, when do you
cut bait? I like that term.
Yeah.
When do you cut the bait?
Well, because you're a fisher.
And I was literally fishing this morning and I bought a bait caster last year. Right. They're side spinning for those people that don't know fishing. It's kind of harder to cast because they do what's called bird nesting really easy.
Oh yeah.
Right. Where the line inside the reel just goes and then you're fucked.
Sweet Mary Lou.
So I've been practicing. Still not great at it. I still bird's nest. I think I got to switch the line, but when do I call it?
Right.
When do I go, all right, I'm going back to my Snoopy fishing pole because that sucker has caught fish every single time.
But you are a problem solver. So you probably look at the way it's tangled, trying to see which way, and you're like,
Oh, I've untangled a lot of bird's
Right.
nests so
Yeah.
far because I've made a lot and I don't want to waste
So-
mine, and I'm a redneck, so I don't
Right.
want to waste my fishing line unless the fish takes it.
yeah, yeah,
Or it's tied in a tree and it's gone.
right.
You're right. I will untangle it, but that's also I'm sitting there not fishing.
Right.
I'm wrestling with my reel, right? Like, do I want to do that? No, I want to be fishing.
Right.
But I really want to learn how to use this reel because that's like the preferred reel for like certain types of fish, and it works really well. It's very efficient, and they're great reels. So that's where I'm like, when do I call it and just go, all right, I'm going out to buy the nicest ass Zepco I can find.
Yeah. Right.
Snoopy
Easy breezy.
Zepco. Yeah.
Easy breezy.
Yeah. When do you call it?
Listen, the plane can have lost its wings. It can be on fire. People are screaming, and I'm like, I can land this.
I love that.
I go way too long, way too deep. Alice will sit there and just shake her head at me like, seriously, 3 months ago, you should have just stopped. Right. I mean, I'm that guy. I hate a failure. Right. So
Me too.
I try to land the plane. There's not even landing gear at this point. Right.
We're power skidding it.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I can bring it in. And
You know, people have done that before.
I literally, yes, you not can't, but yes, I've burned myself out and got so frustrated, wasted so much money on failures because I'm like, it's just a tweak. It's just something I'm missing. I could get this. I can, I saw Joe do this. I know it can be done. You know what I mean? I'm that guy. Or then you go out to YouTube and you see some. Well, all you got to do.
And in a 5 minute video, he
Yes.
built a whole, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
my God, it can get done. Pinterest. It's on. I saw it on Pinterest. Right. I'm that guy. So, I don't know when to cut bait. I just don't.
I guess I don't throw my most expensive bait out the first cast. I will throw a cheap ass bait out, test the waters. If I got to cut that sumbitch, it's cheap. I don't care. I'll cut it. That's kind of, I'm a redneck. So I'll redneck it first and go, this is doable. And then engineer, look into a little bit more. So I guess that's kind of my process is I'm not running up. I'm not going failure off a cliff. I'm going whoop, failure over a little mole hole.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. I guess it just, for me, it depends on the situation. I think, like with Rich will burn the whole house down before he will have a moment of real just in like giving up failure. Yeah. Like if he like just truly failed at something, like, okay. But if he gave up on something, like, for example, he's been working on this spreadsheet of some sort that does something that integrates with Service Titan, and he built, coded, and designed this whole thing. And now it pulls all this data.
Is that Power of BI?
No, it's not Power BI. It's his own thing that he's building.
Impressive.
And so he's like, so every time he adds some blockchain or something or command, new command to the sheets. And so it could pull all the stuff out of Service Titan from like the invoices, the time worked on the stuff, the technicians, the client, like all these different things. He has it set to do whatever. I don't know. It's this like crazy thing. I don't understand anything about it. But he has spent probably the better part of 70 hours on this thing. And he couldn't figure out this one piece of coding. He couldn't figure it out. I mean, he is up until 2:00 in the morning, like trying to get this thing to connect and work. And he's watched all these videos and watched all this stuff. And then all of a sudden he
throws his computer across the room.
That's where I'm at.
That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that.
Punches a wall.
All of a sudden, this hand comes through the wall in the bedroom. I'm just laying in bed minding my business.
And then he was about to hire somebody to outsource somebody to look at his stuff to fix it.
Okay.
And he was about to pay the money. and cut the check. And then all of a sudden he had this like epiphany.
Yeah.
Aha moment.
And then now he's back to the grind. And then he's like, oh, now we could add these other things. And then it could do this and whatever. Like, it's like basically he's developing his own software.
He is. He's
But
developing
he
the power
will-
of BI.
So he will take it until potentially it kills him.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like when he
Dog on a
had,
bone.
like when he had his old Mustang and it was at a,
The one he went through like 3
7
engines.
motors.
no, that was a different Mustang. But like this other, when he had his Cobra, and he took it to a mechanic to install this supercharger and whatever into it. And he picked the wrong mechanic. He picked a guy that does imports versus domestics. And I guess it's a whole different animal.
It
The
is.
guy wound up breaking his engine and then didn't want to replace it. And then something. And so he just wouldn't let it. And then he took it to some other place out in McChesney Park. And this guy fixed most of it. But then there was still all this like aftermath of damage. But it's like he was so deep into that car, and financially we were so deep into that car, like over an additional $50,000 into that car. And he just wouldn't like accept defeat on it until something happened. And then he had to call it at that
Had
point.
to call it. You probably made him call it.
Correct. Until
No.
Yeah.
I said.
Until
knock
I
this
said,
shit off. No
"That's
more money
enough,
to that
Rich."
piece of shit. That's right.
Actually, I think he had to call it when it was going to cut into my engagement ring cost. He was going to take the money that was set aside for my
I remember that
engagement
story.
ring.
I remember that story.
That's
Yep.
what called it. He
Yep,
was gonna
yep.
the money he had put aside for my engagement ring, he was gonna take and put into that stupid car. Like
I
was it-
remember that.
he
So-
should have just lied
so if-
about where that money was coming from.
What about you? Is it different for women and moms? The cut, you know what I mean?
The cutoff.
Because we've heard from the dudes, and you told the story about Rich, and it really sounds. And then you and I are like, "That's when I punch something, right?"
Well,
Right?
yeah.
So
I mean,
is it different for moms when to cut bait? Because you're like, nope, don't have time for this. Throw it away.
Yeah, I'll cut bait way before ritual.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's like an all like woman thing, but like I won't take it to. I'll take it to a point, and if I start seeing that the cost outweighs the reward, then no, I'm not gonna I'll cut it.
Yeah.
Or if it's something that I'm truly lackluster about,
mhm.
like there is no point in me pushing that to the point
You're
of.
kind of a bulldog, though. You're,
Yeah. I mean, like if I set my eyes on
If
something
she
and I want to
wants
do it,
yeah.
then
Yeah.
it will get done. Like, I mean, you could ask my mom, like if I'm like,
Linda.
because my mom's like that she's never really met somebody the way that I approach a situation. Like I could talk both sides of the fence on the situation. I could get you super psyched and on board
Yeah.
about this crazy dumb idea that I have, but then I could also flip it and tell you the whole other side of the fence and then be like, oh yeah, that just sounds dumb and whatever. Like I could do like I could
Man, did
pitch
I
it.
just sound that stupid?
Like, I could pitch it both ways,
Yeah.
and ultimately, like if I want it, you're not really going to tell me no. Like if I tell myself no, I guess that's different, but nobody else is really going to tell me no.
So nobody puts baby in a corner.
Nobody.
Mm.
Nobody.
Unless Rich is listening, then sometimes he tells me no. But
We
That's a
don't,
whole different.
we don't
show.
say that out loud.
That's a whole
Yeah,
different
that's
show.
that's no. Don't stop.
but yeah, I don't know.
really
I mean,
want
like
that.
I
No,
don't
no.
like to fail, so I usually, I guess,
I
will be. I don't like to fail, so and then also I'm semi risk adverse in certain situations. So if I'm entering
It's
into
true.
something, I feel like there's more probability to, you know,
do you really listen? Thanks, Mom.
Oh,
Mom,
she-
does she really listen? I know she doesn't.
like if I think there's more probability of success than failure, I will go for it. And yes, I have
Weigh your
failed.
options, right?
I mean, all of us have failed, but like,
Right.
I will do it. I mean, there's been times where it's cost like a chunk of money that maybe wasn't the best.
I'm pretty sure we've
Idea,
all failed. And
but-
Carrie actually has a great thing. She says you're going to pay for your education, whether it be through with money, going to school,
Yep.
or losing money in the real life, right? In
Was
the
it
real
like
life.
education of the hard knocks?
Yeah. right?
whatever,
Like you're
right?
either going to learn on the streets or you're going to learn in school, but you're going to pay no matter what, because learning on the streets, you're going to lose money at some point.
Right.
Learning, right? You can't, and that's kind of it. So you're going to
education.
You're going to pay for your education one way or another.
So,
right?
I mean, like, I don't know if it's just the fact that I don't like to fail, so I look at the things this way, or if I just need to have a real, true conversation with myself.
I was
But
gonna say, do you really think you're failing when you might have failed? And you might go,
No.
no, that wasn't a failure.
I don't really think I failed because I learned. Like, if I am learning and able to tweak it and get back at it, I don't think there's really been many or any situations that really come directly to mind where I got knocked down and stayed down.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Like in like a situation in business or like there's been things that I've done and I'm like, well, that was not maybe the best idea, but maybe if I did it this way, I'll get a different result, you know? And it's
So,
like the
yeah,
same thing
so
like
in
with
your mind,
parenting
you
though.
never failed.
Like we're all parents and you have, you know, 4 kids and all your kids, I'm sure, have different personalities because I know my 2 boys have different.
Yep.
So it's just like the way you parent one kid and the way you talk to one kid is different than the way you're going to do it with another kid.
So you've got an adult child and a non-adult child, as
Right.
do I. You just have non-adult child. And your adult child goes, you're so easy. Right?
Eli.
My 2 oldest ones are like, I can't believe how boy, if that was me, you know. And
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
Gavin says that all the time. If I did that.
and I'm like, I didn't know what I was doing with you 2. I didn't tell them that. I had to learn. And you turned out okay. So obviously, and I go, but understand, you're not here every day. You don't hear. You're married now, right? She's having
you're
her own
gone.
kid, right? I'm like, you don't hear the conversations that we have with your little sister at 10 at night. You know what I mean? I'm like, just understand, we ain't that.
You're not seeing everything.
Right.
It may be presented a little differently,
Much
but it's
different.
the same message.
Yes, much different
Yeah.
presentation. Yeah.
But it's just like, the way, you know, you taught, like, let's say it was
I had more energy
successful.
when your older
with-
siblings were young.
That's true too. But
So true.
but like, let's say it was successful when you taught like Spencer math.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And like, let's say you didn't have to do the loud and slow
Right,
approach.
because he was a genius. He loved it, right?
And then like when you're trying to do the same method with like Ashley and
She's
it's just
traumatized by it.
not working, like I wouldn't consider that a failure.
Right.
It's just they're 2 different people. So it's like you have to
You
tweak
ate
it.
2 apples. She ate 2 apples.
You ate 2 apples.
What kind of apples were? It doesn't matter what kind.
She was
Golden delicious. What the hell?
she was probably traumatized because Kent finally was like, you know what? Here's 5 apples. You're gonna sit here and you're gonna eat these 2 apples, and that's what's gonna happen.
Right.
Are you going to tell me how many apples are left?
That's right.
But you know, I mean, even like with your daughters, you know, they're much closer in age than like my kids,
Correct.
and they're different.
100% different.
You know, like
stark opposites.
so it's like, how do you like? I wouldn't consider those things failures. You have to tweak. It's just like with employees.
Yeah.
Not all your employees are the same, and the way you talk to them.
And that's what I was saying is it's not a failure. It's just you're just working to learn
So-
and figure it out. As
So-
long as you don't kick the kid out of the house and go, I'm done.
So
You didn't fail.
yeah, well, I'm blessed to be able to coach 14, 15, and 16-year-old women in basketball. I'm also very blessed to be able to coach 18 to 21, 22-year-olds in basketball, right? And it's the math problem all over again, because what works in the college level, not so much here. And I'm like, I don't understand, like, you know. And
Throwing the clipboard. What the hell?
Yeah, I've broken a couple of them. And finally, you know, Alice goes, they're not college ladies. They're not even women yet. And she goes, you can't talk to them the way that, you know.
Then you
and-
talk to a college.
Right. So
yeah.
I, you know, two years ago, 2 years ago, I had to step down as the coach because I was talking way up here and I couldn't encourage these ladies, and it always looked like I killed their puppy. I had a 18-year-old young lady, Mariah, who coached with me, and I said, "You have to be the head coach because I can't communicate with these ladies. It was a failure, right? I told the parents, I talked with the parents. I said, I'm still involved. I'll still run, I'm still here, but I'm not communicating. I don't know how to communicate to these young ladies, right? To get them to do what I'm very, very passionate about. So I've had to learn. It was a failure.
So the coach has stepped in behind you.
Yeah, she did a great job.
So that's not a failure to you because you made the call.
Yeah, I can see that, but
you're still coaching though.
Yeah,
like I would say, if you took that experience where you couldn't break through to that particular team
and you gave up coaching,
then that would be a failure.
That would be a failure.
Yeah, well, but it was a failure in my eyes because I should be able to figure out how to talk to these kids, right?
You've had.
Do you feel that way because you're a coach and you've coached other teams, or because you're like a parent?
Creepy in itself because I'm an old man. But anyway,
but yes, I have children that are high school girls.
Age, right?
But you know what I mean? Like, did you feel like it was a failure because you've been a coach for many a year? And then you're also like a parent, so you're also guiding kids, and then I'm sure your kids' friends talk to you because I know Gavin's friends sometimes like will talk to me when they're in the house and stuff when they were younger. But it's just
Colette will bring home a lot of drunk friends, buddies. Hey, this is well, sit down. Let's talk.
How many 2 fingers, 3 fingers of scotch? What do you want?
That's right.
How drunk are you?
That's right.
So I feel like if you took something that like knocked you down and you just gave it up for life, I feel like you're gonna walk away as like that's a loss.
Yeah.
If it's something that you took and you got knocked down, but now you're tweaking it and coming back stronger.
Not a failure.
I feel like you're still in progress.
Yep. Failure is when it's over.
Yeah.
And it's not over.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not a failure. It's moving into something else.
Well, I spoke to the ladies, right? The young girls, and they all love me. I still get along great with them, right? It's just I told them, I said, listen, I don't ever want to steal the passion of this game, and you guys come back here looking ready for me to just holler, spit, and yell. That's not what this game is about. It's not what life's about, right? And that's why Mariah had to take over, and she did a great job, right? But yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's not a failure.
Yeah, no, not overall from the outside, but still the inside because I'm a competitive person and I demand a lot of myself. It was because I couldn't.
That's a loss.
Yeah,
that's a loss.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
That's a loss.
Yeah,
a failure to me. So also I want to failure is it's over.
Yeah,
done. That's like train wreck versus dumpster fire.
Okay, very good.
Okay, failure would be the dumpster fire. Yeah. That would be a train wreck. That's a loss.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. My father-in-law just told us that he's done flying RC planes. He's got a bunch of them. Spent years. I mean, probably 9 years flying RC planes, and he's like, I'm just done. It's over. He could fly them. He did his thing. He's done. Do you consider that? That's not a failure in my eyes. He gave it up.
No, it's just like when people retire. It's not like they failed at their career. It's time.
Oh, that's okay. So he retired from that. So that's a success because you did it. You run it. You had it. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Wow, that was just, did we pick it up?
Yeah, it could be.
But it's just like no, because if you've done it, you've completed it. It's fulfilled the space that it needed to fulfill in your hobbies or whatever. Then that's fine. If he had RC planes and then he was trying to learn how to fly them and then he gave up because he couldn't get it to land properly after like a week or two of practicing with it, then that's a failure.
Got it.
It's like some people that are real like athletically inclined in certain sports and then they pick up like a different sport. Right. And they're not as athletically inclined in that particular sport. And
that's a failure.
Yeah.
He was a failure at baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Not Bo Jackson though.
But so like, okay, so so if we're saying that's a failure, but do you feel like it's truly a failure when like if you're trying to do something that you have no business doing? Like for me, like if I tried to like lift that table that Joe lifted into his truck for me, that was what, like 350 pounds?
Is that a failure for you?
Like I couldn't lift that. I had no business attempting to even do that. Like that was just
did I.
like that was just
Nor did I.
like-
Let's face it.
like dumb. So like I don't know if I would
Hernia
consider
just
that
thinking
a failure because I had no business doing that.
Yeah, I don't think that's a failure. I think it's a smart move because you're like, I can't do it.
But it's just like, you know, or
Yeah.
it's like when I was in construction and I wanted to try and operate the concrete pump. I had no business doing that. There was no way I was going to be able to do that.
And they
know.
told you no right away.
Everybody told me no.
I don't know.
I
what
couldn't
that-
convince
I don't know
anybody
what
to let
that
me do
means,
it.
but wow.
The pump truck?
The concrete pump.
It's like you hook up this like big hose. Oh, yeah. It could take you up off the
I
ground.
like the hand gestures for those people listening. Hey, pick up the hose.
This giant hose here.
But yeah. But
Uh,
like, you know, like, so do you think that those are failures when you really have no business doing said item, but you're just in your mouth? Like you had no
No.
business like jumping off that shed when you damaged your
But it was a success because I was not the last in the pool.
Correct. He couldn't walk for 3 months afterwards. Nonetheless.
I could walk, just not fast.
Yeah.
Not at my normal pace.
just not
Yeah.
Not at my normal pace. I still got it.
he tippy toed everywhere.
I was barely.
I call him Tippy Toe Joe. But you know, like you had like no business doing
All right, no,
that.
I don't think that's a failure. That's just dumb. Okay, it's not a failure. It's just dumb. If you
Yeah.
do something that you have no business doing, and I think if people tell you don't do it because you have no business doing, and you're repeatedly told not to do it, and then you do it and you hurt yourself, that's a failure. If nobody tells you not to do it and you do it and you hurt yourself,
You're just dumb.
just dumb. If you do it and you don't hurt yourself, but people don't, you know, you want to try something new, even though you may have, like, I may have nothing to go and fly an RC plane right now, right off the ground, right? But if I go and do it and fail, I go, okay, not a failure. That's part of me learning. But I'm also learning if I actually like it.
Right.
What if I do like it and I actually begin to try and really go into it?
Growing up in the 70s and 80s, there was no failure, right? I made a nice clay bowl when it came out of the kiln. It was an ashtray for my grandfather. You move quick.
Yep.
Oh, it's an ashtray. We'll give that to Grandpa.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a vase. It's an ashtray, honey. We'll give
Bowl for candies.
That's right.
Sure.
The ribbon candy that gets all clumpy. Anyway,
I don't think if you're trying something new, I don't think it's a failure.
Sharon says it's a dumpster fire attempting to do the impossible. Oh.
I love way to listen, Aunt Sharon. That's great listening. Dumpster fire attempting to do the impossible. I don't think that's true, but I like the concept. Because I think that if I name something that you should not do, but I can tell you that you could probably learn how to do it.
Evel Knievel jumping over the Grand Canyon. That's a dumpster fire because he wasn't never going to make it, right? So that's the impossible.
Do we add wings? Can we put a jet on there?
Well, let's see.
I don't know. I mean, like
jump flying.
It was just a motorcycle.
I know.
I don't know. I mean, like, well,
a parachute?
in all reality, like, I mean, obviously, when I had Gavin, I was quite young, and a lot of people were rooting for me to fail in parenting and being like a statistic and whatever with being a teen mom.
All right, let's leave Linda out of this.
It was Aunt Sharon.
There's Aunt Sharon.
But
I'm kidding, Aunt Sharon. That was a joke.
We joke.
But you know, like because of everybody telling me that I was gonna fail at not everybody, like stupid outsiders that weren't part of my family, I should specify, were saying that I was gonna fail at this. I mean, then it just motivated me more for the fuck you in the end.
Yeah.
Because then I graduated high school a year early. I graduated college. I raised Gavin obviously with the help of my family, but as a single mom. Gavin's not a teen parent. He graduated high school. You know,
good kid.
beat the odds of a lot of things and ultimately then became an entrepreneur and now I own my own business. So it's like, I don't know. Like,
you're the poster child for not the statistic.
well, it's just I don't like people like it just goes back to I don't like people telling me like no or that I can't do
it.
something.
That's what I'm saying. Is
it's like
if
I
somebody
knew...
says I can't do it, I'm like, well, I don't care what it is. Ballet, I'll try.
She is the poster child, but the poster says actual size.
But you know, like I feel like there's just
and it's this big.
That's right.
But I feel like there's just things in your life where people root against you.
Yeah, they're the
and then
dumpster
I
fires.
feel like that motivates you more, or people root against you because of their own
Well, those
things.
There are people that root for you, and there's people that root against you.
Yeah.
But internally, you're either somebody that's driven by that, or somebody that takes that and wears it.
Yeah.
Right? Like if somebody tells you you suck, you might be the person that goes, ugh, yeah, God, I do suck.
Right.
Right? That to me is so your personality is, you know, I'm going to type my emails with my middle fingers when you tell me I can't do something. Right. And you're going to go after somebody. You're going to go after not somebody, something. If somebody tells you no, right. You're going to go after whatever they say you can't do. Yeah. I'm the same way. If somebody says you can't do it, I'm like, bullshit. I've been told I can't do shit my whole life and I'll still do it. I don't care what it is. I'll figure it out and learn it. So I think that there's nothing that somebody should say, I'm not supposed to do this.
I don't know. If they tell me I can't go, maybe I don't want to.
Name
You're not firing me. I quit.
You shouldn't do, right? Yeah. Name something you shouldn't do. I think all of us can do everything. Yeah. Anything.
The Bible says your neighbor. But anyway, hey, thank you.
Well,
so we're down to the last few minutes.
Right,
so
what did you learn today?
What did we learn?
Listen, we are in the last 5 minutes of the last show ever here in this space.
In the is it Creator Studio?
Yeah, 216 Creator Studios. This started out as the 216 the net, 216 the net. You know, back in we jumped in here in 2018. So we've been here for 6 years. 6 years. Yeah.
We came in about halfway through that. You came in halfway through.
Yeah. Well, the first time that I was on the show was back when Kent did that 6 a.m. show.
6 a.m. and she was in. Yeah.
Balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the same way
not
that I got you.
We don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, he got me in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
That's how we get it. That's how we get all the hosts of the show.
So.
Hey, bag of dicks is what I got. Well, I learned today that we are live on YouTube, Twitch, and what?
Twitter. And the Facebook.
I learned that we are live on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and I did not know that. I thought we were only live on Facebook. So, hello to all you people out there. And I hope you can leave. What?
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Welcome to the show. For the first time, I'd like to say welcome to the show. Right. I just learned you're out there.
That's it. Steph, what'd you learn?
I think that I learned that I think we're all in agreement that failure only is the end result if you throw in the towel on something.
Yeah.
Then you failed. If you continue to try and tweak, your initial attempt is not a failure.
Yeah. Quitting and or never trying, right, is failure to me, right? You know what I learned? I learned that I like the train wreck.
Dumpster fire, train wreck, and success.
And success, yeah. We all kind of got that definition of success, but I like the train wreck because there's a lot of things I think in my past that I was probably a train wreck that I took as a failure. So it's good. That helped me out.
Love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
First time
if you could peel it apart, it's a train. And when we first talked about that, I'm like, wait a minute. A train wreck is way worse than a dumpster fire.
Right.
I could spray a fucking fire extinguisher into a dumpster and put it out, essentially.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And I go, but
yeah.
A train wreck, they go, no, you could peel a train wreck apart.
Yeah, you can. That's pretty
enough.
good. Yeah, that's
fair enough.
That was
Love
good.
that.
Absolutely.
So, all right.
Absolutely. Listen, we can't thank you guys enough for joining us all these years. And we're still going. Don't go away. We're just in our new studio, the Streets over in Crystal Lake, in conjunction with Piano Trends. And things are going to keep going on. Steph and Joe, we've been there already, doing some shows from there already.
Amen.
But we're putting a bow on this very special place to the company because when you grow, it's time to go sometimes. And here we are. So I did a little something. So let's end the show like this.
Oh.
I'll be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. here. 7 a.m. U.S. Central, right here on 21/6 the net. Y'all come hang out. We'll be back. Have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. We'll see you later.